That person in your head isn't you. It's a story you've been hypnotized into believing. But what if the you in your head doesn't actually exist? By the end of this video, you won't just question who you are, you'll question who's asking the question. What if I told you that from your very first breath, a character was being written for you, and you've spent your entire life rehearsing the part? You believe that inner narrator, the one that doubts, worries, and judges, is your core identity. But what if that's the fundamental lie? It's a lie that both ancient wisdom and modern neuroscience are beginning to unravel, revealing that you've been conditioned to believe a character in a story is the real you. Think about it. There is a voice in your head, and it never stops talking. It's the narrator of your life's movie, commenting on everything. I shouldn't have said that. What will they think of me? I'm not good enough for this. It's a constant stream of judgments, fears, and memories. We just assume this voice is who we are, that it's me. But where did this me even come from? It was built, piece by piece, long before you had any say in the matter. It was constructed from your name, your parents' beliefs, your teachers' expectations, and your most painful failures. Every experience was another line added to your script, another layer to the character. This character, this mental construct, is what many call the ego. Its primary job is to maintain a consistent story. It's like an internal PR agent trying to manage the brand called you. It feeds on the past and frets about the future, creating a narrative of a separate self that needs to constantly protect and prove itself. You didn't choose this character, you inherited it, and you've spent your life believing you are the actor when you're actually the silent audience, mesmerized by the performance. Living as this character is exhausting. It's a prison built from thought, where every wall is a limiting belief and every chain is a past trauma replayed on a loop. How many of your daily anxieties and deepest fears are simply coming from the script this narrator is reading? The voice convinces you that your worth is conditional, tied to your accomplishments, your appearance, or how many people approve of you. It creates a relentless pressure to be more and do more, just to feel okay. This inner critic is a cruel master. It compares you to others, points out your flaws, and whispers that you'll never quite measure up. When you fail, it says, "I told you so." When you succeed, it says, "Don't mess this up." This is the friction of a life lived in service to a fiction. We feel trapped and stuck because we're trying to live up to an identity that isn't a fixed reality. We are trying to perfect a story that was written for us, not by us. This attachment to our story is a significant source of our suffering. It's the feeling of being a passenger in your own life, driven by a narrator who is terrified of veering off script. For thousands of years, wisdom traditions have pointed to this glitch in our consciousness. Buddhist teachings, for instance, are built on the concept of anatta, or no self. This insight suggests that the permanent, independent I we cling to is an illusion. It teaches that what we perceive as a solid self is actually a dynamic, ever-changing process of thoughts, feelings, and sensations. The suffering, these traditions say, comes from our attachment to this fleeting story, from believing it's solid and real. And now, modern science is arriving at a similar conclusion. Neuroscientists can watch the story of self being written in the brain. They've identified the default mode network, or DMN, which is most active when your mind is wandering, ruminating on the past or worrying about the future. It is, in essence, the brain's storyteller, the neurological home of your inner narrator. Science shows that the self is a useful but ultimately fabricated narrative the brain generates to make sense of the world. It's like a perceptual illusion where our brain fills in the gaps to create a stable image from incomplete data. We see proof of this when parts of the brain related to memory are damaged and a person's sense of self can fracture. They lose the thread of their own story, proving that the story was what held the self together. The solid, continuous you that you feel you are is a magnificent, ongoing creation of your brain, a story, not a static fact. All of this leads to one simple, world-shattering question. If you can hear the voice in your head, if you can observe your thoughts and emotions as they pass by, then who or what is the one doing the observing? The answer to that question is the beginning of true freedom. You are not the voice, you are the awareness that hears the voice. You are not the character, you are the silent, spacious consciousness in which the entire story unfolds. Think of it this way. Thoughts are clouds passing through the sky. You've spent your life believing you're a cloud, tossed around by the wind. But the truth is, you are the vast, open sky. The clouds, the thoughts, emotions, and the narrator's drama pass through you, but they are not you. They can't harm you any more than a cloud can harm the sky. This awareness is the real you, the silent witness. It has no opinion, no judgment, and no fear. It is the still point at the center of the storm. This isn't about waging a war against your ego or silencing the voice in your head. The shift is far more gentle. It's simply a change in identification. You stop mistaking the narrator for who you are and recognize your true nature as the awareness that perceives it. The ego is a tool, but you have mistaken the tool for the user. Once you grasp this, you start seeing proof of it everywhere. Look at social media. We've all become experts at crafting an identity, curating our photos and bios to present a specific version of our story. This act of consciously building an online persona is a perfect, modern example of how the self is a narrative construct. You are performing a character, and you know it. The lie is simply believing that the character you play in your own mind is any more real. Even our biology hints that the boundary of the self isn't as solid as we think. Scientists discovered mirror neurons, brain cells that fire both when we perform an action and when we see someone else do it. When you see someone smile or wince in pain, part of your brain simulates that experience, effectively blurring the line between self and other. Your brain constantly models the world around you, challenging the narrator's story of a completely separate, isolated self. As this idea begins to settle, you might feel a sense of space opening up, a quietness behind the noise. What aha moment did you just have? I'd be fascinated to read about it in the comments below. Hearing each other's moments of clarity helps all of us awaken from the story together. And if you're ready to stop being just a character in a script and start becoming the conscious author of your experience, make sure you subscribe for more explorations into this liberating truth. The voice in your head is a story you were told, a program that has been running in the background of your life. You believed it because everyone around you believed theirs. But the suffering that comes from this case of mistaken identity is a choice you no longer have to make. The freedom you're searching for isn't in changing the story or perfecting the character. It's in realizing you are not, and never were, the story itself. You have mistaken a story about you for the whole of who you are. So, the only question left is, who has been watching it all along?